Hey guys, I have a really good mate who has started playing with and picking up a really fascinating and historically significant hobby, and that is Scrimshaw. Scrimshaw, if you're not familiar with it, is the very time-honored tradition of carving grooves and divots and holes and pits in traditionally whale ivory. But it can be done in antler, it can be done in horn, it can be done in all sorts of bone and chitin. And once you've dug the grooves in, you will coat the entire thing in a blackening or darkening agent such as lamp black, and then sand back the high spots, leaving sort of like a dark imprint of a picture or artwork. And it can be done to some beautiful effect, as you can see here and here. Now, currently my mate is just experimenting doing this using a leatherworking awl, and I wanted to surprise him with a couple of entry-level Scrimshaw tools that were made quite nicely, or at least by my standards of what I'm capable of doing. And I have an offcut here of some 1084 from Creative Man, which is a great steel, really nice all-round steel. Now the bits for Scrimshaw are really small, and so this will actually be way more than I need. But I am going to forge it out into a more useful shape, and the rest of the work will be done in the finishing room, because I'm going to put some really nice, pretty brass fixtured fiddleback timber for the handles. You know, my theory on the whole thing, if you are going to use a tool every day, why not make it a beautiful one? Now, there are a lot of different tools, or shaped tools for Scrimshaw, but the two most common ones that you use are a point, which is like very similar to an awl, and the second one is kind of like a chisel blade, and we're going to be making those two for him. But the first thing we've got to do is light the forge and reprofile this into something a little bit more useful. and let me just break down the video in the middle to let you know, just in case you didn't already, that not only do I actually have a merchandise store where you can actually get sweet numbers like this and look just as cool as me, but I also have a Patreon where I go into all sorts of fun tips and project ideas in terms of the crafts that I do, the blacksmithing, knife making, woodworking, all that sort of thing. But I also go into a lot of pro business advice, because that's what I used to do before I was a full-time iron worker. I used to do business consulting and I was pretty good at it too. So if you want to join that family, I won't hold you up. Links are in the description below, so do check out my Patreon and consider becoming a supporter, because it helps me to produce awesome content like this. Anyway, back to the video. So Scrimshaw tools have a certain way about them, and they're usually shaped a certain way. And I'm going for something a little bit different on mine. Now, like I said, I'm making him two different tools. This one here is going to be more of a sort of tracing tool. It's like a chisel blade. This one here is going to be basically just a small point spike, like a leather awl. Now, I'm going for a very ergonomic shape. Now, this kind of looks like a potato. It's sanded up to 1200 grit now, but it is going to be oiled, and that's really going to bring out the chatoyance that's in this wood. You can kind of see it on the back there, but it's in there. But basically, we're going to put a little brass bit on the end there, and the bit will come out of there. Now, this is shaped so it can be held like this, and it supports the thumb in there, and the index finger on the top, down there, the middle finger. It cups into the back of the hand. I know he's right-handed, so it's very much a right-handed tool. So we've got a grip like this. We've also got a snug bit around the middle that you can wrap your thumb to get a bit more force going into it. And you can also hold it like this with your thumb on the butt cap to poke in like that. This one, however, is much simpler. It's just got a little indexing divot on the top there, and you put your finger through there, index it, and grab like this. You pop, 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 and you can push down and put some force into it because of this crotch in here. So all around should be comfortable, but let's check the tempering oven and see how our steel is doing. Alright, this is looking pretty good, so we're going to take this to the grinder, clean it up a little bit, and work on the tips. So while it's in one bars, because it's easier to handle, I'm going to put the spike point on this end, chisel point on this end, and then I will cut it and we will round it up, make sure that it will fit into the handles quite nicely. So now I've got these shaped. I've got my little chisel blade and my little sort of center point looking thing. I need to round these, turn the profile from square to round so that I can drill a hole in the handles and fit these in. And so you would have seen that I was using brass with the holes cut out. These are going to be my bolsters on the pieces. And I was using it just to test fit rather than taking measurements and things and finding out nasty surprises later. So now I'm going to cut these into 2 square sections, and then we can do the glue up. And once that's dry, I can shape these and get them nice and shiny. So before I do the glue up, I'm going to pre-polish these just so that they're nice and shiny right off the bat. Okay, so here's the construction that it's going to be. We have the chisel blade here with its bolster, and we have the awl here with its bolster. Been notched up a little bit on the tangs just to add a bit of hold, and yeah. I'm going to prep some clamps to be able to put these in with some softwood to put over the tips to compress the whole thing down, and we should be good. I'm using 5-minute epoxy since these won't ever be under that much stress, and I'd rather get this thing done. Five-minute epoxy is always a rush, but keep plenty of acetone ready and rags and things and you'll be alright. But that one is setting, excuse the dark, and so is that one. So once they're dry, I can take it to the grinder, get rid of the excess bolster, and yeah, finish sand and oil.
5 minutes later.
Alright, so these are glued up, taped up, and ready to be ground up. Alright, all shaped up, sanded, you know, it's all ready to go. But I know what you guys are really here for. You're here for this. Oh yeah, Constantia Organic Finishes, my oil of choice, oil brand of choice. Sticking some red oil on this, and I want to sit down for this, guys. Sucker up. Let's give it a coat of that. If one is good, more must be better. Oh yeah. One that's doing some daylight, shall we? Focus going. See that beautiful grain? here they are. Came out pretty nice. Beautiful figuring on that mountain ash, and some nice fiddle backing, which creates that chatoyance. Affectionately calling this one the potato knife. Got that nice wedge chisel sort of blade on it, and this one's the awl. Hard to get it to focus in. Nah, doesn't want to do it. Oh well. So once again, that nice fiddle backing, and shaped so that you can put your finger through there and work it like that. Apparently that's the traditional way. So hopefully my mate likes these. I'll deliver them to him tomorrow and see what he thinks. And there may be a Scrimshaw tutorial happening on my Patreon for the project of the month, because it is a very old and time-honored skill set to have, and people have been doing it for many hundreds of years. So yeah, definitely check that out if you want to see it. Patreon, along with all the other links for social media, etc., are linked down below. And I hope you are having a wonderful time. I'll catch you on the next one.